Not even exhausted. Just got up, just fucking push through that shit.
Pushing through it.
Yeah, bro.
Right.
What's up with you?
Man, I this morning got up, got me some breakfast. Obviously, getting ready for the interview. I had I worked on a Google commercial yesterday, so I had to send off this production report and shit to the producers and stuff because I forgot to do that shit right before I left set. So here I am this morning, man, chilling, relaxing, chilling, interviewing you. We got some good questions, man. I'm ready to go. How are you feeling?
Oh, I'm feeling great, bro. Are you streaming on Facebook?
Nah, I'm not streaming on Facebook, but I'm gonna put once this is all said and done, I'm gonna put this fucking edit together today, and then
Okay.
I'll put that shit to Facebook, put it on my YouTube channel,
Okay.
that kind of stuff. So it's just you and I in the chat today.
Okay.
All right.
Let me see something.
So first off, so how I usually do this, because my particular platform, I call it interviewing you, interviewing me, which is just what I have my little interview segments on my second YouTube channel, STEFON's Blogs. So for this, like I said, I'm just going to go ahead and introduce you. You introduce yourself, and then we're going to hop into the topics. I got a couple different things I want to ask, a lot of different stuff I want to bring up. So first and foremost, because this is my first time recording an interview, like a one-on-one interview this year back on my channel. So welcome, everybody. 2020 has been a fucking ridiculous ass year. We have a special ass guest today, man. A guest that I've been wanting to talk to for a long time now. Long time. So I'm glad you're here, Mr. Miles Meyer.
Yes, sir.
Glad you're here, man. Once again. If you could just introduce yourself, to the people who may not know you.
Okay. That's probably a lot of people because there's like 6, 7, 8 billion of you. So I'm Miles Meyer. I shoot independent films, content creator, video producer, getting revenue, results for people, motivating. That's what I do.
Good shit, man. Good shit. So first off, how I'm gonna kind of structure these questions. I have questions based on keywords that I want to ask you. So
Yeah, let's get it.
the keywords, there's I think 4 keywords, well technically 5. So the first one is competition/community, then accountability, humility, and then influence. Those are the key words that I want to kind of talk about in terms of just the different questions I have for you. So first and foremost, though, so when it comes competition and community, right? I think, do you remember how me and you met each other?
Yeah, wasn't it the Ben Frankie video?
Yeah, Lois Lane. I think this is our first time officially meeting each other. I, of course, knew about you, I think, right before I went to film school, because I remember what the music video was. It's the one song that kind of popped off heavily in Fort Wayne, the My City. I remember in that video, and I was like, oh shit, it's this is a dude named Miles Myers who lives in Fort Wayne or some shit like that. So I instantly, me going to film school at the time, I was super interested to get a chance to work with you, get a chance to see what was going on in your process. And I think for whatever reason that didn't happen. So obviously I met you when I graduated, came back to Indiana. And more just based on competition, right? It was at the time, right, I would say, because everybody was doing music videos, I feel at least in that main Fort Wayne circuit of videographers, filmmakers. Would you agree? At least the majority of it that you would know.
When, back then or now?
But back then.
Nobody was doing videos.
Music videos?
Mm-mm.
You saying
it wasn't
2016?
When 2016. Not really, bro. I mean, there's a couple people, but now it's more flooded than ever.
And that brings up that kind of helps form my point. So back then in 2016, because I think everybody has competitive natures about it. You have competitive natures. I do. I'm sure most other people do. They should have it. I would consider you at that time my biggest competition. Biggest competition. I considered you my competition. And I think at 1.2, I think there was maybe an unofficial maybe beef at the time.
You made that up in your mind, bro. You made that up in your head.
So I want to talk about that situation though, obviously, because I think it's important for me now that we're getting to have a conversation to have a real like civil conversation about it.
Let's go.
So when I moved back into Indiana in 2016, I didn't really know much people shooting videos. Now I'm from Angola, Indiana. I don't know if you've ever been there. I'm sure T Zank is from.
Yeah. Zank. Yeah, I've been up there.
Angola is a very small ass town, and
Mm-hmm.
really not much of a creative community there whatsoever. So me going back home, I knew that myself was one of maybe 3 filmmakers, videographers in Angola. But then I know Fort Wayne, being the second biggest city, there's a lot more people. There's a lot more shit going on.
Right.
Probably more like creative stuff happening.
Right.
So then I knew about you. You were shooting a lot of T-Zank stuff at the time. I think you may have still been shooting Izzy stuff maybe at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And then I heard about, like, I remember someone told me, like, oh, well, there's a dude named Jimmy Ball. There's a dude named Jacob Guts. I was like, oh, shit, so there is more people. Mm-hmm. And, like, what it seemed like is us 4 were, like, the only people, at least kind of towards, like, the latter end of 2016 into 2017, were the only people that were shooting music videos in the city. Would you agree?
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, so that's not a lot of people. Like,
no, of course.
How many? Yeah, like videographers to artist ratio is ridiculous. Like there were way more artists than there were videographers.
Oh yeah.
So that's the way I see it. I'm like, there were hundreds, maybe 1,000 plus artists, and there's like 4 good videographers that could actually make something.
Exactly.
4 or 5, doesn't matter if it's 10, still outweighs it.
For sure. So with us being, so when I heard about that, I was like, okay, cool. Like there's a few other people, I want to get to know who they are. You know what I mean? So I never got a chance to meet Jimmy in person. I met Guts in person like one time at like a Tech 9 show or something like that. And then of course I met you from being on the Lois Lane shoot. And I was hella excited. I was like, yo, this is the first time I've heard about this dude Miles. Like I want to, and I've seen his videos. I'm interested to see what he's doing. Because at the time, during Lois Lane, I had probably shot, music video wise, but before I graduated, I probably shot maybe 3 to 4 videos before, like right at the time when I met you. And I was working on a big one that kind of like helped me get my name a little bit more popped up in Fort Wayne and Indiana. So when I worked with you, I mean, it was me, you, and Darnell. I don't know if you still speak to Darnell. Shout out to him.
Yeah, I just talked to him the other day.
Shout out to him. We were on that shoot, and like I said, that was I learned a lot. Yeah, I think you had the Sony A7. We had fucking rigged the A7 on the car. Did a whole bunch of crazy shit. Motherfuckers was in Superman suits and gorilla and all that kind of shit.
Memorable shit.
Memorable shit. It was a cool shoot. You know what I mean? And like I said, I remember we had a couple times where it was just me and you together talking. We had talked about a couple different things about just like the community and kind of a lot of the shit that we're gonna be talking about today. But of course back then. And at the time, right, me being in my competitive brain, I remember being behind the scenes, watching how you did your stuff. And of course, I know my own process. And I was like, okay, there's a lot of similarities and there's a lot of differences. And of course, I think at the time, me being so heavily on the competitive reach, because I was technically the new person out of the 3 of y'all that was already shooting shit. So I was like, okay, I really want to see what this dude's about. So I saw your stuff. And at the time, I was like, man, like I said, in my competitive brain, I was like, yo, I kind of want to, and don't take it offensive, I was like, I kind of want to I can annihilate this guy. That's what I was thinking in my head.
Yeah.
In my head. And then, of course, the Lois Lane video came out, and then I had the one music video called Emo from an artist named Mr. 219 that came out, and that helped pop up myself as far as getting known by other artists and shit like that in the city.
Right.
And then, of course, I remember I brought my cinema lens, my Rokinon lens, the 16.
Oh, yeah, I was using that thing. Yep.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I think, and I don't know if that was like your first time dealing with a Rokinon or a cinema lens in general, but I remember that you liked it. I was like, yeah, fuck it, go ahead, let's use it on the shoot. We shot.
Oh yeah, bro. When I'm on shoots, bro, like people have other equipment. I'm like, man, let me get that shit.
Right.
I'm like, let me get that shit, bro. Like I use all my equipment every day, bro. So when people bring shit on set, I'm like, man, let's use that shit. Because film sets work different, bro.
Exactly.
Like,
and
it's like on a film set, it's a community. You bring the equipment together, you all put the shit together, and you make something epic. Like you can do stuff alone. And I like, usually I think of doing stuff alone, but then it turns into like a group project. And I'm just like, hey, we all showed up for class. Congratulations.
Yeah. Which is like what filmmaking really is. So
really,
that was cool. But I guess from that moment, I was like, yeah, man, I'm like, I saw it. Like, I was like, I said, there's a lot of ways where I think I'm better than this guy. And there's a lot of ways that you are better than me and better than others. That's just in my mind what I was thinking.
Gotta get it how you live, bro. I ain't mad at you.
So after that, there kind of became like the issue and the beef between the actual rappers. I don't know
what rappers.
Between like SMG and then like Mr. 2 and 9, Soul Child, those guys, and those were guys that I was.
Oh, I barely saw that shit. I stay out of that shit.
Yeah, and that's my question, because I feel like myself, I kind of got dragged into a lot of the issues because there was conversations and things happening where my name kind of got brought up in situations. It was like, oh
shit,
hey, like,
shit,
don't work with SW Films, don't work with STEFON, go to Miles. I had heard that was supposedly what certain people on that campus said. And then there was an artist named Gersh. There's an artist named Gersh. I don't know if you've heard of him. I don't think he really makes music anymore, but that's one of the people I kind of grew up with in high school. He had a song with Ben Frankie called Gains. Hard ass song. Super fucking hard. And I was getting ready to shoot and direct a video for that song. But then there was a conversation between I think Gersh and Ben or something, where it was like, hey, like, they want Miles to shoot the video. Because obviously Ben, being, I guess you could say, the bigger artist at the time or whatever else, maybe thought he could have jurisdiction of that particular choice. And I was like, no, hold on now. Like, that didn't make no sense to me. Now, obviously, that's probably something you didn't even know or was even cued in on. But
no, I didn't know. I didn't know that shit.
You know, so like, it kind of brought me back into this. Okay, I'm kind of getting drawn into this. And then even some of the artists that I was fucking with, they put out diss tracks on those guys. And they ended up bringing
crazy, bro.
They ended up putting my name and your name into it. And I'm like, oh shit.
Crazy,
like,
bro.
Now it's like, now there seems like this is like a real, not a full on beef, because what I consider beef to be is there's no beef if none of us can put our hands on each other type shit. You know what I'm saying? There's no.
That's some crabs in the bucket shit, bro. We ain't even on that shit.
Yeah.
That's like, local mind state, bro. You gotta be on global shit. Mentally.
Sure. So what I'm saying is there's no beef. There was no beef at all.
No real beef.
No real beef. No real beef. That's what I'm saying. I said
nothing real.
Unofficial.
Yeah.
But then I also, you know, when I came home, a lot of people kind of brought it to my attention. Like, hell, like I remember, I think I sent you a video. I put out an album last year called No Sweat Pimp.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a whole long ass album, like 27 tracks and shit. And like in that whole album, go ahead.
Shit, that's a lot of tracks.
A lot of tracks, you know what I mean? I was directing a lot of my own videos and all that kind of stuff. And like in the like while I was writing my process, that entire process of me writing it, I was putting a lot of my thoughts to paper. And I was like in this competitive state. Like I was ready to go. I was ready for all types of smoke when there really wasn't no smoke to really be directed towards. There wasn't really any smoke directed towards me. Like no one had truly said my name publicly about any situation, which is cool, you know? But then I remember I put a lot of my thoughts out to it, because I remember a lot of people would ask me like, hey man, how come you've never met Rory Kramer? I don't know if you know who Rory Kramer is.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, because he's kind of, at least he kind of popped up kind of close to Angola, like the Fremont, Clear Lake area. And hearing about him, I was like, oh shit, this dude's worked with Justin Bieber, A$AP Rocky, like a lot of like big artists, big talents. So I was interested to kind of like, people were wondering like, oh man, he's close to the city. How come you haven't met him? And then people would always ask me when I first got to town, how come you haven't worked with Miles? And that was like before, obviously, Lois Lane and shit. Mm-hmm. So hearing all these questions, I was like, I'm going to continue to do my own fucking thing, my own situation. I'm not looking to I guess to dive too much into other people's brands. And that was the mindset that I think a lot of people back home, it was wrong for that. Because if you would agree, and I want to get you to actually start to ask this question, right? obviously you said that it was a made up situation. I mean, how aware were you technically of any sort of, I guess, tension or controversy between, I guess, when it comes to either SMG and the other rappers or you and I? Like, how aware were you in it?
Dude, I was, all right, this is how blind I am. All right.
Tell
This
me.
is how blind. The only thing that I've ever heard that you do is sometime you released a song and like mention my name in your song. I'm just like, dude, I never did anything to this guy. I thought I brought him on this Lois Lane set and showed him how to do some stuff. I thought I was helping out, bro. You know, like I don't
I
check
said,
out rapper beef
yeah,
because
no,
I've always been advanced mentally where I'm like, bro, I'm not like, dude, I shot Nizzy Nice 25 videos for free
I heard about that.
in 2 years and got 6.5 million views. Bro, I'm not talking about any rapper that like ain't got some clout, bro. Like I'm not even worried about it, bro, because like even when I started my career, we were getting views, bro. We were cranking. So
Sure.
like all I want is results, bro. Like all that other shit, I'm just like, dude, this guy's just because, dude, I've already been seeing it. Like when I first started, before I even met you or anything like that,
Right.
I had some feelings, some like jealousy feelings, like, oh, what happens if I edit this guy's video before this guy? And you're always gonna have that. But it's like I had kind of that state, but then eventually I just stopped giving a fuck, and then I started getting results, and then anything outside of that, bro, I'm just not worried
Right.
about it, bro.
Yeah, nah, because in that I sent you that particular song. That was the
Oh,
first.
did you?
Yeah, that was the first.
Oh shit.
And it
Yeah,
was.
well,
I didn't technically. I said the line that I said particularly, and it wasn't more of a shot at you. I think it was more of a shot at like Zank. And I'm cool with Zank and Ben Frank and all those guys now. Like we've had our conversations, and also I see how they move and how truly out of a lot of people that did diss them, it's just the honest truth. Zank and all them have been the ones that have still continued to push their
right,
shit forward, and a lot of people
right.
have not pushed their shit forward. So
You
I,
know it, bro.
as a person who, amongst a lot of people, have continued to push my shit forward, and a lot of people have pushed
Right,
back. I
right.
understand that, and I can connect with that and understand.
You got it.
You
You
know?
got it. Yeah.
So in that song, I said something about you can stay with the double M, telling people not to work with me, but to work with him. That was my line in there because that was in my.
I don't even remember it, to be honest.
Right. That's all.
I mean, I remember you saying something, but I don't remember what it was.
Right. Like that line was just like, okay, to me, it felt like, oh, someone's trying to stop me from eating. At least in a certain pocket, which at that time, that was the only pocket that I was in doing music video shit.
Right.
Then it started to expand out a lot more. So that was where I was like, okay, well, now I'm not gonna, and I'm not a rapper, but I can rap. I'll say it right now. I'm better than a
You're
lot
kind of a rapper. You dropped a 27 song out there, buddy. You're kind of a rapper.
Well, you know, I would say as a filmmaker, I can rap better than most of my
Bro, you're a creative, bro.
creative.
Like, bro, I be seeing shit way different, bro. I'm like, dude, don't even get caught up in these titles, bro. Just know that you're creative, man.
You know, so in that situation, I had to realize, I was like, you know what, this is kind of an overreactment on everybody's part. I think the beef between SMG and the rappers that I was fucking with was not needed. You know what I mean? And I think me kind of maybe creating some issues in my own head, but also seeing some smoke where it could be placed, and then having more of a competitive nature was like, oh, I want to annihilate every one of these motherfuckers.
Yeah. I can see how you'd feel that way.
You know what I'm saying? And I understand competition, though, and this will kind of lead into my next question. Competition is very healthy. Competition is healthy. And I want to get your reaction to that statement. Like, would you say for yourself, because you've been doing this for 10 fucking years, 10 plus years, as you've grown, like, as you've kind of grown through Fort Wayne, doing music videos, commercials, and everything else, competition has been healthy for you. Would you agree? What would you say?
I think I was thinking about this when you first said it, but really competition for me, I get the most growth when I'm not worried about other people and am I waking up and pushing myself? Because when when I'm like worried about somebody else's like growth or like their grind or like when did they get up or when did they do that, dude, I'm putting all my energy into their shit. And it's like, bro, like, are you growing from where you were last year? So it's more of like an internal struggle and push. Right. And that's really where I'm at, you know?
For sure. Because I think my opinion of Fort Wayne in particular, right? And I don't know if you would agree with this, but I think Fort Wayne is, especially Angola, but Fort Wayne is also one of those places where I don't think it'll let more than one entity live. Like, it won't always celebrate two of the same industry or entity all the time, because Fort Wayne has a lot of small-minded people there. And I love Fort Wayne. I didn't grow up in Fort Wayne, but I was born there. I got hella family there. Like, that's my city as well as anybody else's. So very small mindset though for a lot of people, and especially the creatives too. So I think like the reason why maybe I kind of built a lot of competitive shit and maybe some unofficial beef, as I said, towards you or anybody else, is because the support, the community,
right,
push that shit on you.
But hey, man, but rappers, they've been saying this shit for, dude, Rick Ross said this. It's like, your city, don't even try to win them over. I ain't even trying to win over my city. And like, every rapper, artist, you start somewhere, then you go. It's the hero's journey. And then you make it somewhere else. Then everybody back home supports you. I've been knowing this shit for like 8 years, bro. Right. So it's like, I don't know. I just bounce around, bro.
Right. No,
like, we want 1,000 true fans, man. So like, you want to watch all my damn videos. Like not just like, it doesn't matter who I shoot. It's like, you're committed to like my brand and who I am. That's the kind of fans I need. If I have 1,000 of them, we're in the money, bro. Like, I don't need 1 billion fans. Like, I'll play my role, bro. But like, that's the mind state. Like, let me get some real fans. Like, who target markets, avatars, who you trying to impress? Like, all this shit, bro. Like, I know that my brand's platform right now, like specifically, I came up with this year, I kickstarted Miles Meyer Films because I was doing Blade, which was a partnership. Yeah. But long story short, there was a passion inside of myself that I wanted to get out. So basically, my target is to change the mind state of other filmmakers, because they hold certain things not important. Things are not important. It's just like all this like beef and stuff you're talking about. It's like all this shit that is just mental baggage that literally does not help your happiness, does not help you grow in your career. It's literally just baggage. It's like buying a new lens. Like, I was telling somebody yesterday, like in this documentary that we were shooting, they were actually shooting a documentary on like me. So that's why they're on my music video shoot. So I was like, hey, everybody wants to buy like a $2,000 lens. And I'm like, and then I turned to an artist. I'm like, hey, what have you ever gave a shit about like whatever lens the videographer? He's like, I don't even know what that shit is. And I'm like, and you just bought a $2,000 lens. You're stupid. You're dumb. It's not what they care about. They want views. They want money. That's it. So get that shit.
For sure. And I would agree. I think, like I said, this is when I first came home into 2016. And I already had kind of thoughts and ideas of what it was going to be like coming home. And then to see that there was more than one of myself, it's kind of like almost in that same entity. It was like, all right, they don't want to celebrate more than one person. I'm just going to continue to go through my path, collaborate how I collaborate, learn from people, learn from me.
Have fun. Have motherfucking fun with your process, bro. Shit.
That's the way it was. So like, even during all the times where there may have been some tension, I feel like there was growth for everybody. And I think for yourself, right? Because I'm a person, I observe a lot. I feel like for you, you've had a lot of good growth in the past couple of years. Because I think from 2016 when I met you, I think maybe you were kind of strictly still doing just music video stuff. Maybe I think you may have been working with Cali at that time too.
Yeah, I was working with him back then, but not at the capacity now and shit.
Not at the capacity now. Now it's like y'all doing your shit, and I want to congratulate you on that too. Congrats.
Appreciate that, dude.
That's dope.
And it just fits.
Hypey too. That's some Bay Area shit. So.
Oh yeah, it is. It is some Bay Area shit. Yeah, straight up, bro.
But nah, yeah. So like, and now that you're like back in Fort Wayne, for the meantime. What are your thoughts though on I would say, I guess the film/video community, because now it is starting to be a little, I'm not gonna say oversaturated, but there is starting to be more people starting to pop up more often than 3-4 years ago. So what are your thoughts, I guess, on the community?
Here's the PR answer. Hey guys, PR answer coming. Here's the PR answer. No, but for real, like, so I created this course. Like, people sell courses online, right? So once COVID hit, right?
Yep.
I really wanted to do this since like November of last year. So I got the time. I was able to break away from our business enough to spend energy on creating a course. So I started calling a bunch of filmmakers and seeing if they wanted to get a part of this secret sauce course, okay, where basically I taught my mindset.
Right.
And so that takes a certain amount of leadership, as they'd say, right? So that competition and crabs in a bucket, or thinking that somebody's going to take what you have mentality, is completely like, you have to put, like, I had to push past that, right? So I got like 5 people to sign up, and like every single person is like better than when they started, right? So like they signed up, they're better when they started. And a few of them, like, you know, are really like shining. Like one of them was in California, and he lives near LA, and like I got him hooked up with Kali, and I am basically just getting him in the mix. And like, he's like getting views on shit. He's helping like the production. And basically these guys and these chick, basically I can call them and teach them and bring them on set. So like now, like it's blossomed into something I didn't even know.
Right.
Like that's what's crazy about it, is like I had one of the guys on my shoot yesterday who shot like behind the scenes. He shot pictures, and I was like, dude, come get in like my circle, right? It's like, who's in your circle type shit. I'm like, come get my circle, talk to these guys, bro. Like, watch how I'm doing this stuff. Like, I want you to succeed in this, right? Because I know, like, I see lots of people shooting videos, but in like the petty minds, like, oh, bro, like, he's gonna take that. And like another one of my homies, like Flight, like he was worried about like what lens.
Dude, Caleb is a good dude.
Yeah, dude, like he shot behind the scenes and stuff for me. So basically I bring these guys on my shoot, and it's like, then they start to grow. And then like you can't hate that they're growing. That's what you want them to do, bro. Like you want them to grow. And like I remember I was texting him, and he was like, you know, I don't know. I don't want to shoot until everything's perfect. Like, I think I need another lens. I'm like, if you don't go fucking shoot a music video right now, I'm going to come over there and slap you, bro. Like, but like, that's what he needed. You know what I mean? Like, I honestly think, and now he's like Thuman. He's going, he's like shooting videos. People are calling him up. I'm like, bro, that's what I needed you to do from the beginning, bro.
Exactly. Don't wait to be perfect. Like when I first started, I'm fucking, like the first music video I ever shot was with my cousin, Enigma. And he literally, it was like, I was still in school. I had spring break. I had like a 2-week spring break, flew back to Indiana, shot the video for the entirety of my spring break, and just like, put together a little bit of scenes. I had the Canon T5i with the basic kit lens on there. And I was like, all right, let's shoot. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Little can lights and shit that, you know, worked for the time. And we just shot a video and we made something cool out of it. And yeah, you can't, myself, like, you know, I was in film school. I didn't, and I wasn't all the way through my classes to really understand fully. And I truly believe I learned a lot more outside of film schools than I did in it.
Yeah, right. I know that. Shit.
You know what I'm saying? So, and shout out to Full Sail. Full Sail is a great school. I've met a lot of great people there, but definitely learned a lot more about directing, I would say. Directing and like cinematography and different ways like that.
On set. Yeah.
Exactly. So,
yeah,
you don't have, like, perfectionist shit will kill a creator. If that's all, like, if you just feel like you're perfect every single time, that's going to end up wiping you out.
That's the worst.
It's the worst, you know? But, I mean, so would you say then with your courses and stuff, do you think that's had, like, a pretty good and direct influence on some of the creators that you've seen in Fort Wayne? Particularly, like, of course, you mentioned Flight. Like him, I think definitely I could agree with that.
He didn't take it because he just couldn't afford it, but he helped me out in other ways. So he was on set. So he didn't get like the one-on-one, but basically just working with me. Right.
Yeah, he's doing BTS stuff. He was doing BTS with you and Blake.
Yeah. So like, you know, he'd ride with me on set, or he'd come to my office and I'd like sit next to him while he'd edit something, and I'd be like, here, use these notes. Here, get rid of that, you know. Kind of let him fly on his own, but at the same time give him some like training wheels, you
Right.
know.
For
Because I
sure.
recognize talent, man. I've always been good at that shit. I can tell when somebody's talented.
For
Just
sure.
gotta break. Like, it's really about breaking their mindset. Like, the secret sauce is really just coaching. Basically, it's like coaching. And like, the thing is like, you can buy courses, you can take YouTube tutorials, you can do all this. But what I've realized through going through this process is that what people need is fucking accountability. They need accountability. It's like when you work out, it's like everybody knows how to get jacked, bro. Everybody knows how to get skinny. Everybody knows how to eat right. Everybody knows how to lift weights. You know, you go to the gym, but that's not what's holding you back, bro. It's the accountability. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
And so people come up with a billion excuses, and like, really, that means I have to embody not being an excusable person, right? That means I gotta be like a Navy SEAL. That just means I gotta be like that, bro. And then I can help other people. But you can't do that if you're not that.
Exactly. And that kind of leads me into my next part. But before I get into the accountability,
Yeah.
so then would you agree that like, would you say that Fort Wayne's like film and video scene is starting to grow a lot more? Like, where do you think it could actually be in the next couple of years from what you have noticed?
Dude, I know a bunch of dope ass creators in Fort Wayne, bro.
Shout them out.
I mean, honestly, anybody at Loft House, my buddy Kyle. I mean, anybody like Flight, Drowsy.
Yep. There's
I mean, he's not even in Fort Wayne. Obviously, J Main, he's down in Indy. Like, obviously, I've worked with Guts before. Like, he's still here.
right.
Like,
There's a few
there's a bunch of dope creators, bro.
There's a dude named Fernando. I forget his last name, but it's like his company's like Swess Productions or some shit. He's out of Fort Wayne. He's a dope dude. There's a few. There's a few that I've been seeing. There's some
Keep grinding, boys.
Keep grinding. There's some dude named
Keep grinding, boys. Let's get it.
You know, so now there's a good community. And there's a great community of just like actual like filmmakers who are creating like short films and storytelling and shit like that. There's a lot of good people. There's a dude named Bryce Fritzl. I don't know if you've heard of him.
Yeah.
Bryce is a really good dude. Worked with him on a couple different films. He's a good dude. There's a few other great people. Adam King. Okay, before we get into the accountability, one more, because I heard you say this on the interview with Jake Huber, right? And I thought it was interesting about the music scene in Fort Wayne.
Yeah.
And you said it was wide open. Right now you think it's a wide open market for people to come through and take
shit. Why not?
And I actually really agree. I think I agree because when a lot of people think of Fort Wayne music scene, I think at least a decent majority of people are going to look at, I don't know how well people still look at maybe as like Nizzy as being like the dude from Fort Wayne who kind of made it out type shit and is like at a certain level. I don't know how people look at him in that light anymore. But T-Zank, SMG, Ben Frankie, E3, all those guys have been like the guys, I think, honestly, like those have been the guys that have kind of taken the reins of a group in Fort Wayne, for sure. But I guess I just want to expand, like, when you mean wide open, how wide open do you really think the music scene truly is, though? Like, for people to actually pop off, to talk about, like, taking, like, because I know for yourself, you try to teach these artists as well how they can blow up. I've seen that from you, like,
right.
So I guess expand on that, like, how do you think a new rapper or a rapper that you know has talent coming into the Fort Wayne scene, what do you think are things that are important for them to do to actually get the push they need from your perspective?
Well, okay. So let's say that they don't have, like, they're growing. What's upcoming? You know, like, how many followers? Like, what are their results? Like, how many results are you saying for an artist? Like, they're not making money on their music. They're not doing it full time.
Yeah. I would say they're not doing it full time. It's like a part-time thing, but they've been getting, say they put out like one little thing on SoundCloud or they put out one little thing on Spotify and it's gotten like over
a couple things.
Yeah.
Okay.
You know?
Keep going.
10,000 some plays.
Okay.
And now they're looking to actually do a music video for that particular song that's been blowing up. And they know that if a music video comes from that particular song, it's going to help expand them even more.
Yeah.
Outside of like putting shit on like an elevator, World Star, or fucking No Jumper.
Well,
like,
they're gonna have to do that shit in a way. They're gonna have to figure out some outlet. That's part of the process.
For sure. So what do you think? How do you think doing a video for them, for you, would be a good way to, I guess, help them? Because I think videos can truly stamp an artist's name down.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's necessary nowadays.
More than necessary nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, people who don't think music videos are necessary, and that shit's ridiculous. But like, how do you think that video, what would you say could be the one thing to help stamp that artist in a scene like Fort Wayne, specifically Fort Wayne?
All right, if you're an artist coming up in Fort Wayne and you don't have the reach, or you're looking how to grow your audience, or you want more reactions, or you want to do music full time and get paid to do that and not work your job, then there's some fundamental realities that we have to face. And some of these are pretty uncomfortable, where you need to treat this like a job. So you need to build it like a brand, and then you need to figure out how to monetize on it. Because as far as the YouTubes, the streams, especially if you're an artist who puts illegal things in your videos, you're going to have a really uphill battle, because YouTube and Facebook they do not want to spread that, right? They're not going to let you monetize. Advertisers aren't going to do that. So even if you did get 500,000 or 1 million streams, you ain't going to get advertisers, and you might get like, for a million streams on YouTube, maybe like $1,000, right? So like, how many people are getting 1 million views in Fort Wayne? Nobody. None of y'all getting 1 million views. So like, what's up, Mom? All right, see ya. So basically, nobody's getting 1 million views, bro. And so since they're not getting 1 million views, like, what you can do with 1 million views is you can actually funnel that into like what you want is attention, and then you can funnel that into different products that you're selling. Like, simple thing is t-shirts and stuff, but then you can filter that into shows, because people desire to see you if you're creating some content. So you got to think like a creator. You got to create some kind of buzz, and you're in show business. And the problem with Fort Wayne is that it's not really a show business city.
Not at all.
Right?
Not at
all. So because it's not a show business city, like, it's just like, it is what it is, and it's difficult.
I think the best way for people like artists, and really any creative, damn near, the best way for them to pop, at least if we're talking about in terms of people recognizing their talent and actually like fully supporting it and like seeing that it's working, is sometimes you gotta get the fuck up out of there.
Well, yeah.
Get the fuck up out of there.
Yeah.
And that, that's why for myself, me leaving Angola, I think was the best shit ever for me, as far as like just the opportunities I've gotten and everything. I mean, even when I was still in Angola, like, I got a chance to work on a Big Sean music video last year in Detroit. And that shit was a fucking great experience. You know what I mean? A great fucking experience, So, and that was just me being in a small ass town like Angola and still getting that opportunity. But accountability now. All right. So I think this is the important thing, because we talked about it a little bit the other day. What would you say content creators really need to be accountable for when it comes to their work in particular, and how to spread it? Like, what do you think are the key factors that they need to hold themselves accountable for? Because there's a lot of stuff I think that could kind of go on in that answer. But what do you think is the other key things? All content creators, but specifically a content creator like me and you in the visual space.
Consistency. I don't care how it looks, just be consistent. Like, that means just like constantly dropping content. I mean, just consistently dropping content, because you never know what's going to work. A lot of people like to theorize what works, but you don't know, bro. I've thought like videos are going to do awesome and they don't do awesome. And then other videos that you think aren't shit, that you didn't put much energy behind, you drop them. So it's just like, dropping content. Yep.
That's real. Would you, based on consistency, how's that saying go? They say, fuck. Basically saying like quality over quantity. What are your thoughts? What is your thoughts on that? Quality over quantity.
Quantity. I used to think it was quality, but it's quantity.
Expand on that. What do you? Because I think I kind of agree with both sides. Sometimes I think quality, of course, is a better position. I think for myself, at least, as someone who's trying to like make more films and shit like that. And films take a long ass fucking time to create compared to like a music video or commercial. But for quantity wise, just based on any kind of content, I guess, expand on that. Why would you say quantity is more important?
Well, I used to think it was quality, but then, actually talking with Jake is kind of crazy because like he spent a lot of money on building sets and then like they don't get a lot of views. And I know they take a long time to put together. And then I'm just like, shit. Like, I'm like, it kind of put this shit into 3 levels for me. I'm like, there's people that do like videos for less than $1,000. There's people that do shit between like 2 to 5 grand. There's people that do videos like over 5 to 10 plus. Like there's like levels of how much you charge to do videos, right? Like kind of like brackets of how much an artist is willing to spend. And like, I mean, doing those big budget videos, unless you're like a major artist, you're guaranteed that's going to get reach or has some kind of marketing budget behind it. Like, kind of not like why do you want to like lean that hard into quality? So it's like the marketing with it's also important. Like is it reach? Is it going to do what it needs to? And then like quantity, I'm somewhere in the middle ground, bro. It's like I
see that.
I want to make something that looks dope and it's efficient, but it's not slow. So that's why basically it's not in quantity, it's not being slow. That's really what it's about for me nowadays.
Yeah. Not being,
I just go, bro. Because it's crazy. Because now that I've decided, like, I stopped like giving a fuck about certain cleaning up the edges and shit like that, and like, you don't even know like what people are like watching for. Like, as a filmmaker, you get so boxed into like what you think people want to see, and it's like you don't know exactly everything people want to see. You only get it through studying it, depending on what industry you're in. You'll understand why people are watching. And then once you figure that out, it's like, then you can kind of slide around the edges a little bit, like with what works and what doesn't work.
Exactly. That's actually really true. I think, and that may kind of go into maybe us having a little bit of like, we still throw out perfectionism, but we still kind of have a bit of that within us though.
Oh yeah. Without a doubt.
Especially with filmmakers, there's shit that I'm like, okay, I'm really thinking about this crazy idea and vision of how it could be perceived to the audience. And also you're thinking about all the technical shit too, that is you create that and shit you want people to notice. So you're actually right on that. Kind of more on consistency though for yourself, right? I feel like you've always been a pretty consistent like creator. Where do you think your consistency really started to reach, like, I guess that fast high level that you've been at? Because right now you've been doing a lot of stuff for Cali. You did a lot of stuff for SMG and all those guys. How did you get to that consistency? Like what got you to create that for yourself? How did you own
shit? COVID-19 basically pushed me into this fucking new breed because how I was doing shit for Blade was different than I'm doing it for creative. So like corporate stuff is like a lot of processes, and I feel like there's a lot of blocks in creativity. Actually, there's a lot of blocks and slow movement and too many decisions and heads and contacts and emails, and it just takes forever to get shit done, right? And they're like, and then you create something, and sometimes they don't do shit. You know what I mean? And it's like that's not really like how I create, right? So like COVID-19 basically made me like have to like rethink stuff, and then I started like pulling up old hard drives and reinventing stuff and like getting up and just like listening to trap music and being like, fuck it, we're gonna get up and get this money anyway. Start doing the thing.
What specific artist was you listening to?
Oh, I mean, like I'm just thinking like off the top of my head, like Rizzo, like the TSF, those guys from Texas, Sauce Walker. But yeah, like basically that did it. And then you know, I started like reaching out with people that I worked with before, and I was like, man, I want to get back into like music videos and making music videos. I don't care if they don't pay as much as like these corporate shits. You know what I mean? Like, I want to follow my fucking heart. You know what I mean? Like, for real. I was like, bro, I'm tired of this fucking, you know, the way I've been doing shit. And then I started like posting more on social media like I used to, and just started going hard with that and like trying to make content every day. And then I like reached out to Cali, and he's like, I'm moving back to LA. And I'm like, all right, bro, like, let me come out there and shoot some content. And then once I got out there with him, he just opened my mind to a whole nother level again, just like more blocks, like just things, just like bad ideas just going out the window. And basically we're like, well, these YouTubers, these top YouTubers are dropping videos every day, bro. And I'm like, well, why don't I drop a video? Like, why aren't we dropping a video every day, damn near? I'm like, what's literally holding me back from dropping content every day? And now it feels like to a point, it's like, how much content can I just blast them with? I'm like, I'm just going to blast you with all types of shit. Like, you probably going to get sick of seeing me, you know?
I respect that. And I think that goes into like a good conversation. Like, I agree wholeheartedly, like with corporate stuff, a lot of the corporate stuff that I've done for my company, like, it's cool doing it because you get paid a lot more, but you're right. There's like, it kind of takes away a lot of the creative process that you're doing. But I guess it kind of depends on what kind of particular kind of corporate stuff you're doing. Like, if you're doing something that's completely informative or documentation of something, of like a real life event, like yesterday, I can't really spoil it, I guess, or even say much about it for the Google commercial, but like, it was based on it's based on something for like a contest that Google does for people to like do graphic design for their like website, like, you know, for the basic interface of Google. So that was like a documentation situation, right? And then you have the informative stuff where you're shooting for like I don't know if it was either Loft House or you. I saw one of you guys shot something for like maybe like a beer company or something. I think I saw something.
Yeah.
You know, that's like informative kind of, I feel like it's kind of showing, and documentation as well of their process. But then you also have the narrative side of doing commercials, where you're actually kind of creating like I saw there's the new Ford Bronco, which looks fire, by the way. The new Ford Bronco, they did kind of like a narrative commercial for that. And I was like, okay,
Right.
that's fucking amazing. Like, that's just dope. I mean, I think if it's more narrative shit, then it kind of gives you more of that creative process. But then also, once again, like the music video stuff, that's the only reason why I've kind of continued to do music videos, because I was at a point too where I was like, you know, I don't want to do music videos anymore.
Right.
Because the artists, like, and I love all the artists I've worked with.
Right. Artists.
You know, the artists are not understanding shit, not knowing shit, or they don't know what they want to do, or they just don't have the money for it, or the artist money's at a low price. So, but that still kind of gives me enough creativity, because I've had to actually create a lot of the concepts for these artists.
Yeah.
You know, so
yeah,
I agree with that. That's true. I mean, it's funny too, because as you say, like, there's a lot of emails and stuff like that. And I guess for myself, because on most of these productions out here that I've been like a production assistant on a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
And at least from the processes that I know that are happening, like a Google or like any of those other bigger companies, Intel, shit like that. Usually it's kind of like a quicker process, because those motherfuckers have thousands and millions of dollars. You know, millions.
Right.
To just get shit done as quickly as possible. And especially since COVID-19 has happened, corporate shit is like really the only thing that's happening, at least out here in the Bay and California in general. Like, corporate stuff is the only thing that's moving. There's no narrative shit happening, because there's going to be 400 people on set, depending on the size of that production. You know, and I guess that's a good thing too. Like with COVID-19, right? For myself, I feel like COVID-19, it did set me back, because, you know, I moved out here to California last October, and I was just hopping into doing the professional, like in the professional industry, going on these different corporate jobs, little narrative shit every now and then. And when COVID hit, it stopped everything, like, completely.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit, I don't have any work. So now, and I was just trying to get my business, SW Films, I was trying to get that started at the time. So I had like one client I was going to work with, but then COVID stopped that, and I couldn't work with that client anymore. So for myself, I've been trying to figure out, well, reaching out to clientele here, actually trying to build my name out in this area, because now I have to kind of start from the fucking ground up again. But also,
right,
my biggest goal is to create my own film. Like, I'm a writer and all that kind of shit.
Yeah.
trying to get my scripts written. Like I'm shooting, it's my second short film next week, which I'm excited about. But for yourself, then, what do you think was the biggest, I guess, slump you had to go over during COVID-19 and like with your creative process? Like, did you have to completely annihilate some processes because of this?
I just had to get over this. Wait, go ahead.
Or yeah, did you annihilate some processes, but also did you kind of, I guess, did you find it, I guess, easier to be more consistent during this time? Because I've been hearing people say that they found a little bit more consistency through doing this, even. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I feel like the direction of my life completely changed with COVID-19.
Clover, yeah, not for real.
Yeah, it literally it changed, bro. And like we'll see where it's gonna go here. But like I'm really enjoying it, bro. Like I'm just glad that it kind of hit, bro. Honestly, I'm kind of glad it hit.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and I like it's a blessing and a curse. But then when of course you get added with all this shit like the racial tension that's been here in America, but now it's even more fucking prominent than before, I think, to everybody's eyes. That's also been another thing for myself that I've had to deal with, being a black filmmaker, a black creative, trying to figure out the specific stuff that I actually feel like I have, that things that I need to create. You know what I'm saying? Because you do more independent and freelance stuff. Would you say that?
Yeah.
Do you think when COVID hit, did you kind of like sit back and think to yourself like, maybe this isn't as like resourceful. Maybe doing this freelance shit in particular is not as resourceful or not as stable as I thought it was as soon as the shit hit. Because there's been a lot of people freelance wise that will never get to come back. Because
I mean, like, what are you gonna do? Like, I'm not like here's the way I've kind of seen it, bro. Like, I'm not a real estate guy, like yet, right? Like, I don't have I haven't researched how to like get the loans and then flip the houses and do all that. Like, I just haven't spent time to do it. I've like really focused on filmmaking or making films and being really good at this and excelling at it and just like being this person that does this. And like, for me, it's like, okay, obviously you want to have some money saved up, right? Like when the shit hits, it's like, yeah, it hits, and like it hits just right around tax time too, which is so funny, bro. It's like because I always have to pay the government money. Like I always have to. Like I don't get tax returns, bro. Like I don't, how everybody else moves, like it does not work that way for me. Like however normal jobs work, this shit does not work that way for me. It just hasn't worked like this for like 5-6 years, probably like 6-7 years.
Freelance people, that shit doesn't come.
Yeah, you just owe the government thousands and thousands of dollars, and it's just like, okay, like cool, bro. Like I'm glad I had money saved up, because like that would have been so, like for me it just gave me, because all you're buying is time. I need time to think about how I want to move and how I want to act and how I want to spend my time, right? And I'm not going to spend it with bum ass fucking artists, like people that just can't even move the needle in my career, literally talking my ear off, literally, bro. Like, shut up. Like, shut up. And like, are you about this or not, bro? Like, are you gonna, you have the money for this shit or not? Like, that's like, if you don't got the money, then we need to not have this conversation. And so like, it's really about that work type shit.
Yeah.
And I don't have like some people don't have another, some people get unemployment. I couldn't get SBA loans. I couldn't get disaster relief. I couldn't get unemployment. I couldn't get none of that shit, bro. So for me, there's no excuses, bro. It's like, all right, bro, I don't have these resources. Like, yeah, some people, I definitely didn't sit on my ass though. I'm going to tell you that much. I definitely didn't. I mean, I sat down, but I didn't sit on my ass, bro. So I just had to figure it out. And like, it forced me to grow. Right. And like, it's just the way it is. And I'm not quitting. Like, I'm not quitting this career. Matter of fact, I'm more hyped up than ever. And so like, I'm glad I reached out to Kali, because then it's like, oh dude, he's about his hustle too. And it like really put shit in black and white. It really made it black and white. Like, certain people got certain ambitions, and it's like that's just what it is, bro. So like I ain't tripping, bro.
We're
Does
in
that
the
help?
same boat. We're in the same boat. I didn't get none of that shit. I
Yeah,
tried
you didn't get none of it.
none of it. But now that productions are starting to kind of slowly creep back up in here, I'm definitely not getting that shit. So,
Oh yeah.
yeah, for sure. Okay, well, with that though, kind of back to accountability. Kind of took a left turn. How do you hold yourself accountable outside of consistency? Like, how do you hold yourself accountable in each, I guess, kind of in each phase? I don't know what your process is when an artist or a corporate or a company hits you up and says, hey, I want to do a video or a promo video for my brand or for my music, my song or whatever. How do you hold yourself accountable in each, I guess, interaction with those folks? Because of course you don't want people to fuck you over or try to fuck you over on money.
There's a selling cycle though. It's like I took sales with Sandler Training and Jim Wilcox, which is just Sandler sales, just how to actually sell to people. You know, there's actually like a process to it. Like starts with bonding and rapport, I think, and then it's like,
Absolutely.
you know, so I don't know, like if they can't pay, they can't pay. I try to get down to their pain because you have films to solve a problem. So it's just about finding out that problem and like making sure that's what they want, and then seeing if they're qualified or disqualified, and get budget somewhere in the conversation and figure out if this is something that we need to make a reality or not, you know?
For sure. That's cool. That's actually good that you have like the sales background. I can kind of tell that kind of helps. It's just a lot of your different.
Oh, it helps. Oh, dude, it helps out a lot. And I try to teach filmmakers that too. I'm like, if somebody comes at you and says like, how much? Bro, get on the phone.
Yeah.
Get on the phone. Don't send them a number.
The one
How
thing
much?
you said was in the Jake Huber thing. You said if they ask you how much, like right off the bat, then they ain't ready. I remember you said
Man,
that's the truth.
they may not be ready, but at the same time, I really do. Like, I know I come off kind of harsh and stuff, but at the same time, like, I mean, it's the truth. Like sometimes people may not know, bro. They may not know how to buy, right? And it's taught, and I don't comprehend this all the way, but you sell how you buy, right?
Yeah.
So like some people want deals. Some people want like the most expensive price. Like why people buy is like, it's a really crazy psychological game of like why people buy. But like, I just know getting on the phone and then like having a longer conversation and building up that rapport, because people are going to buy either emotionally or intellectually. Like they buy emotionally and then justify intellectually. So they'll be like, so if you give them like, it'll cost you $2,000 to shoot this video, and like, well, damn, you know, homeboy down the road's going to charge 600 for it. I'm like, now all they're thinking is intellectually. It's all a numbers game. And then you're not really hitting on what they need, right? Because they actually might need a $2,000 video. They actually might need that shit. But like, you got to get them to a place to like get around that price. You got to like do some judo and then be like, all right, hey, like, what's like when you're sitting on your deathbed and or like, have you been working this job too long? Like how long you been working this fucking job that unfulfills you? You've been talking about this career, you know, like, and then that brings up these emotions within them. Like, shit, yeah, I'm frustrated, bro. I'm so tired of working this job. I want to do this music, and frustrated because I got to get up at 6 a.m. every morning, go to this job till 5. And then, you know, and I got these kids, and then just all this emotion starts spilling out. And then it's like, okay, so are you ready to start working with somebody who's going to move the needle for you or not? And then it becomes, then the money's not a big deal, bro, because it's just money. It's just like paper, bro. It's just fucking paper. At that point, it's like, I'm actually helping you get something that you need. And that's the way I see it.
Man. You have to pay to play.
Oh, yeah.
I always say that to I think a lot of the artists that have reached out to me, is you have to pay to play. Like, what do you really want out of, like, as you said, what do you really want out of your career? What are you really trying to achieve? Like, and my homie, Mr. 219, I know he's going to be watching this. I'm going to use this as an example. Like, doing one video a year is not going to do a fucking.
Oh, hell no, bro.
It's not, and that's not going to do shit for any artist. Doing one video a year is not going to do anything. There has to be more of a push
You know.
that. If you want to be if you really like want to be, especially as a rapper, which rapping is kind of looked at in a lot of ways, especially in local ways. I think locally rappers are kind of looked at sometimes as jokes. I'm gonna keep it
Well, yeah.
real. I feel like
Yeah.
that's kind of looked at as like a joke to do that. But the only way to prove that you're not a joke, to prove that you really are about this shit, is of course to have the talent. But outside of the talent, to work hard, to continue to have your consistency, move in a strategic way to for yourself on social media, and obviously like using like, you know what I mean? I guess, you know, just being like really trying to be creative in every single, I guess, interaction and every single kind of thing that you kind of do and push. So yeah, no, that's true. There has to be a way to kind of, I guess, to sell and, you know, try to let them know like this is how you should buy technically. Because I've heard that all the time. Like, oh man, well, yeah, you're gonna charge me $2,000, $2,500 for a video, but homeboy said he was gonna do my shit for $200 and make it look like this.
Right.
Don't tell me about homeboy. I don't give a fuck about homeboy. Actually,
Yeah.
don't tell me about
Well,
the
go
dude.
shoot with him. Maybe it works for him. I don't know.
You know what I mean? That
If
shit
I'm
was
arguing about that, then it's like they're probably not qualified anyway, bro. Because usually like with the sales thing, usually they see the difference. Otherwise, they're just not qualified. They usually see it. They're like, oh yeah, bro, you definitely fire, bro. Because usually they found me through some kind of social media.
yeah.
You know, it's not like I just called them out the blue, right? Like I'm not a cold caller.
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't cold call people. Like it's not my fucking thing. I hate it. It's fucking annoying. It's
Social
awkward.
media. I'm glad because that's the last part of this accountability thing. I guess for content creators, I guess specifically for filmmakers, right? What do you think? What would you say that they need to have in their repertoire when it comes to social media marketing? Because I feel like you, out of the people back home that I know, I think you've represented yourself, especially in the last year or so, the best of how to market. Specifically, I think your brand a lot more too. Like I'm not talking about like the shit you do for those companies, but how you
Right.
market yourself.
Right.
You think is important to have in your repertoire, to have knowledge of, and pushing the way you do. Outside of consistency, because that is also an obvious one in that.
Right. That's probably the biggest one.
That's the biggest one.
Just constantly dropping content.
Constantly dropping content. But I think it's not only that content, but you're also giving a lot of information with each of those different
Right.
content.
So that comes from my avatar. Dude, I'm giving up game right now, bro. Like, so like I know who I'm targeting. So there's two types of people that I'm basically targeting. I know exactly who I'm going after. I'm going after creators, people that make content. Either they make YouTube content, maybe they're an artist, maybe they do prank videos, maybe they're workout people. It doesn't necessarily matter. I'm not really. I mean, yeah, mainly music people. It works. But that might be transforming because now I'm just like working with Kali, so it's like it might be pretty damn exclusive actually. Working on like doing some partnership with him, but then part of the reason why I'm moving out to LA, actually main reason, and then second thing was I'm targeting filmmakers, and then so my messaging and like I know exactly like who the filmmaker is. Like I wrote all this shit out. Like I have like all these questions and I have the avatar. I know how old they are, how much money they make. I know what their interests are. And like I know how to penetrate them. So the content is testing. So I'm constantly dropping content and then testing and seeing what works. I'm like, did this work? How are the views on that? Oh, this one's really popping off. And then shooting behind the scenes. So having a lot of those shooters that I brought on with the secret sauce, like having them on set with me and using that content to help create more content, right? About me as a person, as a brand, because somebody's got to be the face of your brand. You got to have a mouthpiece. Like Kali taught me this shit. Like,
yeah, because
I don't like box it up. You know what I mean? I don't box the shit up like, oh, I'm just a filmmaker. As you were saying, as an artist, it's like, bro, I'm working out and I'm vlogging every day, like my week transformations, and it's all rotating into everything I do. So, it's like it's all kind of built into the same thing as like an influencer. But it's like, bro, I'm all this shit. So it's like, because they talk about work-life balance. You know what I mean? Work-life balance. Yeah. I'm like, bro, this shit's all the time for me, bro. Like work-life balance. The problem is I made a little rant video on this part of my weekly drop that I'm talking about. But people compartmentalize shit, right? Like they want to compartmentalize like, oh yeah, I got my job and then I sleep this amount of hours. I'm like, hey dude, this entire thing's going on all the time, baby. It's always going on. So it's like either you're taking the steps you need to or you're not, you know, and I'm not perfect, bro. But it's getting better. Like it's getting way sharper. And that comes from hanging out with the right people.
Absolutely, man. And I think that's the dope thing. I think with that, talking about LA and all that kind of stuff, because you lived out in LA for like, you lived out there at one point.
Yeah, a couple times.
So like, I guess because you came back to Indiana, or you went to LA from Indiana, then came back to Indiana. Like, I guess.
Yeah, I've just bounced back and forth.
Yeah, I mean, was that more of like, were you comfortable in doing that, or was it just more of a situation where things started to change in both of those areas, so you had to kind of like bounce around, like change like in work wise? You know, especially in LA too. I have like in my time living out here in California, I haven't been to LA yet. There's people I need to go out there and fuck with, but like LA, of course, has everybody's kind of damn near doing the same thing. So for a lot of people, it might be kind of hard to pop off or get certain opportunities. I guess for yourself, like, what were some of the reasons maybe that you kind of bounced around?
Mainly just like relationship failures, pretty much.
Yeah.
Just like falling out with certain people, and first time like I didn't want to work with I didn't want to work like stay in the same working relationship I had with Nice and them.
Yeah.
Like no hard feelings or anything on him. Like just do his thing. It just didn't work out, you know. And then came back, got my head together, and then went back out. I went to like Alabama actually, and then worked with my buddy Colin out there. And then I went back out to LA because I want to work on like film sets and shit. But it really comes down to like my why. Like why am I doing certain things? And then like I met a girl the second time I was out there for like a year and a half, and then our relationship went sour. It actually went like really, really sour, and like it was just like really difficult for me to bounce back. So I came back to Indiana. Like my dad had cancer and shit, so like I had to help take care of him, and then he passed, and then basically I just like was helping out in Indiana. I had a business partner that approached me, and we just started building Blade, and then basically got to the point where I'm at now, where it's like, okay, like, you know, I'm like figuring out, okay, like this is like now that I'm older, I'm able to like be like, okay, I think I know what I want to do with this. I know what it takes to become successful, and having somebody like Kali, like it's just like kind of perfect timing, perfect storm type shit, you know?
Absolutely. I guess that kind of goes into the next one as far as like humility and stuff, because I think as people, right, like for myself, as I've been going through my journey with filmmaking,
Yeah.
as a creator, I feel like I've gone through tons of humility for myself.
Right.
You know, like internally, like I think in the entire process of me creating No Sweat Pimp, my album, that was a lot of humility for me. Like I was super fucking angry and like pissed off and sad a lot of the times.
Right.
Project. Yep. And I put all of that shit into songs. You know, now of course I would like at the time, I think doing that in a film, like in a visual platform would have been, of course, the most ideal thing. But I feel like that would just be even tougher, and fucking I'll probably even be even more mentally sad at the time trying to put a video together based on that shit. But I guess for yourself, like you've grown a lot as a person. Like you said, rest in peace to your father.
I appreciate that, dude.
Like as yourself, like you've grown a lot as a human being and as an artist. I guess how has your humility helped shape you into who you are today, into what you're doing with Kali and with SMG and everybody, and like the plans that you have coming up? How has your humility really helped shape you as a person, would you say?
It's just I think it just like allowed me to help other people grow, you know?
Yeah.
Just help other people, you know, figure this stuff out if they're ready. You know, if there's seeds in the right soil and they're ready to grow, like that's really helped like the important things in life. So
That's a perfect answer for you. Yeah, because that's true. I mean, you have been definitely like you're giving back that knowledge, that information to people. So
Trying to. Some of these people are weird, bro. I had a weird phone call dude, I stayed up all night last night, and like some dude hit me up at 8 a.m. and he's like, "Can we talk now?" Dude, it was a weird conversation, bro. Like he was a filmmaker. I'm
uh,
like, bro, it was so weird, man.
yeah, that's
But
the
like
thing.
I be trying, bro. Like I really like I come from a good place. I come from a good heart with it. But like, damn, sometimes like I don't think people got the right intentions with shit, bro. But
What
I
I
don't know.
like, I've mentored a lot of people, like, but they were people that weren't necessarily within like an industry of mine. They were kind of in that entertainment industry. Like I've mentored people who wanted to be like models and actors and photographers and stuff.
Yeah.
Um, but like I think a lot of those people's mindset was the glory, the gold, and
Oh yeah.
that's like the very first thing that they care about and want to like talk about. And I'm like,
Right.
if you're only in this shit to for the fame, the money, and all that kind of shit, you're in it to fail.
Yeah, basically.
To fail.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
That's not what you should be doing. Like I'm not a filmmaker because I want to become fucking as famous as a motherfucking Steven Spielberg, Spike Lee. Now, of course, that of course in our minds is still like an idea, but what it
Yeah.
really is I'm trying to create projects that
Right.
influence people,
Right.
bring up
Yeah.
conversation, storytelling. Like that's
Yeah.
what the goal is. I want to bring people's emotions out with the shit that I create.
Right.
Not about, oh, I'm trying to make a fucking $50 million, like, or whatever the fuck amount of money. Like,
Right.
the money will come with it, sure, but like, this is a long-term game. It's a long-term game. When you're in it for the gold and the glory, you're playing a short-term game. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What do you think is the biggest form of humility that you've had to face, I guess, as a creator for yourself?
Humility. Hmm.
Because I would say for myself,
Yeah, let me hear that.
my biggest form of humility for me, when I look back at it, I think maybe on my album in particular, I think during my 2 years creating it, I was so heavily based in, oh man, like trying to get in relationships with certain chicks or whatever, and that shit would be like, would just be completely fucked up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Or it just wouldn't happen. I'm lucky now to be dating the most beautiful fucking woman in the world, Bethlehem, if you're watching this. You know what I mean? So I'm happy, and work has been fucking like great. But for me, I think I let so much of the idea that I was never gonna bounce back from some of these losses that I took. And even I think I created a lot, like I said, I created a lot of tension in my own mind. Like me and you, like I said, me and you, we never had an actual beef. So that was a form of humility that I had
Yeah.
to, form of
Yeah.
humility that I think all of us had to take, because there was really no issue in the first place. You know what I'm saying? So for yourself, what would you say then?
Yeah, the biggest humility and the biggest like lessons were having to move back to Indiana, definitely, because I learned a bunch, bro. With the back and forth stuff, I've learned a lot. I've learned a lot, bro.
Yeah.
I've definitely, I've had to keep it, I've had to like re figure out my life, like refigure out like what's important to me and stuff. So, um,
Do you ever
yeah,
get that? Do you ever get in that like because this is my mindset a lot when I came home, is this film shit is all I cared about. Like I was always
right.
in that mindset to where I kind of didn't really think much outside of that. Like I didn't really think much of my personal life that I also have to maintain as well. You know what I mean? I feel like COVID-19 has helped me kind of maintain more of a personal life.
That's all, but that's all compartmentalizing stuff again.
You think so?
Yeah. I think like this is my life. Like this is how I do things. And like I'm not afraid to like lose relationships and stuff, or just people just aren't around me anymore. Like I ain't worried about that shit anymore. Like I got peace with myself, bro. Like if I got to be alone, then I got to be alone. It's just the way it is, bro. Because I really want to do this shit.
Right. I can respect that. I think, like I said, for myself, it's more of like, all I would care about was, okay, creating the next project, getting the next idea out there, and that was it. I didn't like really care too much about, oh, well, I also got to kind of keep up my relationships with my family or friends.
Oh, yeah.
Trying to maintain, because those are things that you also have to maintain as well. Because work and personal
Do you?
life, say what?
Do you?
Do I what?
Do you have to maintain those things?
I think for my well-being and for me to be truly happy,
Yeah.
I think so. For myself, absolutely. Like,
Okay. Yeah, that's just your values. Yeah.
Like maintaining my relationship with my family, at least my immediate family, is completely important. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
My girlfriend, who I met basically like right when I came to California, which is like such a pre-rendered thing that God created.
Right.
I think sustaining that is helpful. Like she's actually given me a lot of like influence. I feel very highly inspired by her. I feel highly inspired by just like the people I've been around on set. Like I had the God-given opportunity to work on fucking Matrix 4 and Venom 2 in the same fucking month in February.
Nice.
That shit was God-given, incredible. So like at the same time, I felt like this COVID-19 shit was for me to kind of take a step back a bit, because that's all I've been on for the past 4 or 5 years is only about work and only giving a fuck about work. Like,
right.
So I think sustaining a little bit of my personal life and just all of that I think will help me become a much better creator for the stories that I create, with the people that I interact with and work with. I think for myself, like to even be sitting here now to have like a good conversation with you, all of that has been formed through taking care of myself mentally, emotionally, and just personally into having these interactions, you know?
Mm.
So, and I agree, because when I moved to Indiana too, from Florida, from film school, like that was a big humility for me too. And then I kept saying year after year, oh, I'm going to move out to California, move out to California.
Yeah.
That shit didn't happen until, last year. So
well, you're there now, so fuck it, dude.
You know what I mean? It's less.
Fuck it.
So would you say your biggest comeback of your career so far from like any kind of slump, would you say that is probably this moment right now?
Probably. Yeah, it certainly feels like that, because everybody I've been talking to is crazy, bro. Like everybody I talk to, they're just like, damn, you're putting in that work. Like people, I just run into people and it's like, I see it in their eyes and shit. And it's like, that's really telling me something. Like, my teacher, my yoga teacher, he'll be like, what's your experience look like? And I'm like, my experience is fucking lit right now. Like the energy's fucking lit. I'm like, yesterday I had 3 fucking cameras pointing at me, like on set. I'm just like, dude, what the fuck, bro? And it's like people, this one of my sales trainers like saw me in the gym and she was like super lit. She's like, damn, I see what you're doing. Like keep growing. And it's like, people see your growth and shit. And I'm just like, all right, bro, like this is it, bro. So it's like, I don't ever want to like let up on the gas on this shit.
That brings us to our last key word, because I like the flow's good, the influence. There's a lot of influence that I see for yourself. How do you view your influence on just the people that you've interacted? Like I was gonna say mainly the creators in Fort Wayne, but how do you view your influence on the people you've just met overall? Like, because you definitely, I'm sure you work with Kali, and he's somebody, of course, who's already like, he's huge by the time you met him, but I'm sure there's influence that you've given him in the conversations that you've had. So how do you view it? Like,
well, I'm still a nobody. I'm still a nobody, like in the grand scheme of things. Like that's also humility too, bro. Like I know like people who know me, like they know like the good work that I do or whatever. So I'm not caught up on tripping on following, but I am trying to, grow that as well, because that provides more opportunity, especially when you're in Hollywood. Like they see that you have these followers. It oils the situation, right? It like greases the gears. So influence, like you gotta be a stand-up person, bro.
For
You
real.
know, you gotta stand for like good values, and you gotta inspire and motivate people
Gotta
to
be a
become the best versions of themselves.
yeah, you gotta be a nice and kind person for
Not
sure.
always. Shit, I ain't always got to be kind. Like I'm like your guru type shit. I'm like, bro, I'm gonna tell you what you need to hear that's gonna help you grow. It's not always comfortable, right?
No,
Like, and that's the hard thing, bro, is speaking up like for your truth. It's like everybody's saying one thing, and you just gotta be like, bro, I'm not saying it that, bro. I'm so tired of that shit. Like, how, like they say the same thing on social media and stuff. I'm like, bro, I'm not saying for that's kind of like with like black excellence and stuff, like that's kind of what I see. Like if you feel that way, then say that shit, bro. You know what I mean? Like speak your truth, and like just if that's how you feel about it, then just say that, bro.
what I mean by kind and nice is
Yeah, let's hear it.
by kind is more of simply like, because I think if you're just a completely like a shitty person, even if you're
Yeah.
getting like tough love and then just being a dickhead or two,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, straight up.
I'm a kind and nice person, but I've also been a pretty blunt person.
You definitely got some bluntness to you.
You know? Like,
Yeah, you definitely got some bluntness.
you know what I mean? So like, I think being kind and just like having that genuine kind of interaction with people is very important, you know, because that kind of shows that person that you do care and that you want to see them grow, and that you know you have their best interest. That kind of situation. I think, especially if you're like intentionally influencing somebody, because even the people I've mentored, I don't really talk to those people like that anymore. But I still wish them the very fucking best. Like every time I see them, like yeah, you may have, I guess, failed in the mentorship or what I was trying to bring to you, and I have failed in some things as well. But I at the same time, my thing is I'm always going to continue to be kind and nice to that person. You know what I mean? Because at the same time, I don't want them to. I don't really give a fuck if no one thinks about me, but I don't want them to think that because of that is the reason why I don't fuck with them, or reason that I'm just like, nah, you ain't shit. You know what I'm saying? What is the greatest lesson that you have ever been taught from either a superior or just from anybody that you've worked with? What is the greatest lesson? Because all this knowledge and information that you give out, I would assume that there's a very important lesson that you've been taught that has helped kind of spread your message.
The biggest lesson? Damn, dude.
Can I tell you mine?
Yeah. Please help.
Mine. So I have a cousin. His name is Hilton Day. He's a first AD here in the Bay Area. Very highly fucking respected dude. He's worked on a lot of different fucking films and commercials out here. Probably, I would say, definitely the best AD in the Bay Area. He told me, "Do not speak in absolutes." That was a lesson that I was like, you know what? To this day, like, I try to keep that same mentality. Like, do not say that this one particular thing is the greatest of all or the worst of all. You know what I'm saying? Like, so for me saying like, Adidas is the best fucking shoe company in the world, nothing competes with it. Or to say that I'm the greatest person, the greatest filmmaker, director in the world, no one can fuck with me, or whatever.
Yeah.
Or that person is the worst. He'll never fucking get up and do shit with his career, his life.
Right.
Do not speak in absolutes. That to me was, to this day, it's been the greatest lesson that I think I've learned.
Damn.
There's some more in there. There's some more from my mom that I could say, but that one to me, I think, has stuck with me now a lot.
Damn.
So what would you say for you think would be the greatest lesson?
I mean, I don't know if this is the greatest lesson, but this is one that's been like rambling in my brain recently, is basically don't be a sheep. Don't be a sheep. Just think for yourself.
That's real. I like that.
Because you're constantly being programmed all the time through ads, social media, all media. See, we're media producers, so we create narratives for a certain message. There's a message in everything.
Yeah.
There's something being said, and usually it's contorted, and people forget that, and they fall asleep in their sheep. We're sheep, but we got to keep our minds sharp.
Exactly.
So, you know, Kali said that in one of his rant videos, but because I was talking to him about leadership and like hanging around like influential people, and he basically said that to me. He's like, you know, eagles fly with eagles, man,
Yep, I like that. Eagles fly with eagles.
not seagulls.
I fuck with that one. I guess my second to last question here is because yeah, you do hang around a lot of influential people. There's influential people in those circles. Of course, Kali is that one. I know that you got an opportunity to be around the late and great Nipsey Hussle.
Yeah, Nipsey. Yeah, straight up.
That like, first of all, tell me about that experience. Like, how did that experience come to be?
So my girlfriend went out second time I was in LA. There's a director called BLB. He shot Thugs videos,
Yeah,
and he was like looking for like somebody. He was looking for some talent. I like Instagram DM'd him, and then eventually we bothered him enough where he texted me back. I come help out on a shoot. He's like, "Oh, this guy's really fucking talented." He's like, "You know, you keep doing good stuff. Um, you know, you'll be around other artists, right? Just like I do for other people, right? I bring them on my set, they get around people. I can't do everything in the world, right? So eventually I got invited to Nipsey's studio. I came there like for like a month,
yeah,
like just back and forth. I got a bunch of content. Like I really do have a bunch of content when he was making his Victory Lap album. Like his shit's not been released or anything. Um, B told me that I think they're working on a documentary. We'll see if I get credit or not. But like I think he has some of the footage I shot. But I shot some stuff on Red. I shot some stuff behind the scenes. But like this dude would just like sleep in the studio type shit. So like I'm just paying attention to behaviors. The success leaves clues, right? This dude just sleep in the studio, getting up, doing his thing, right? So like I'm just embodying that type of energy and like what I do. Like I'm not worried. Like it's all part of the process that's going on. I don't like journey as much as process, because journey sounds aimless. Process sounds like driven, like methodical. Like this is what we do. We follow the process and then it gets you the result, right? So dude, it was unreal. Like I met a lot of his camp. Like I watched how he recorded. So when artists talk to me and stuff, I'm like, bro, I have like real hand experience with like artists like in the industry, like Nipsey Hussle, one of my favorite rappers of all time, actually. Probably one of my favorite rappers of all time. No cap. Just like a super down to earth dude also, but like super focused and intelligent, speaking on things that are like not about like drugs and stuff like that, but there's gang culture and stuff in it. But like just how the people moved, like how they would record beats and how he would just like freestyle on the mic, and like how they would make beats on the spot, or there'd be 4 or 5 beat makers, or they'd have a song recorded and then they'd mix and master it and listen to it over a time. They were like vibing in the studio for like months long, like creating this piece of work.
great album.
And
Great album.
it was just super eye-opening. Like, and it's like that's why you got to be in certain cliques. Like, are you with this clique or not? Like, do they fuck with you? And as a filmmaker, like people don't really fuck with you right away. Like, is this guy weird? You know, like filmmakers got to watch how they're moving too. Like, bro, don't be fucking weird and thirsty, bro. Don't be taking all these photos. You'll get your goddamn clout photos, bro. You'll get them eventually. Like, you'll get the shit. So stop worrying about it, bro. Like, just do good fucking work. Play your fucking position. And like, I just played my position with him, bro. He's like, one time he said, he's like, damn, this shit looks like it should be on HBO. The dude said that in the studio. I'm like, shit. Like,
That's big words from
you can't take that away from somebody. You know what I mean? You just can't take it away. So that should help inspire and motivate me. When people that I look up to and respect their work, right, say that about me, I'm just like, damn, bro, I do got the juice. And that just helps keep
exactly, man.
the momentum. And so I give that to other people, bro. Like I honestly do. I'm like, dude, you just shot some fire ass photos, bro. Good job, brother.
Yeah. Nah,
Good job, brother.
man, rest in peace to Nip, man. That is
Yeah.
an awesome story. That's hella cool. And like that's great that you got that opportunity. And that's once again just goes back to being around the right people, man. Like for myself, my cousin, very happy to call him family. He's a very influential dude. Has strong values of what it is like to be a filmmaker, a black filmmaker, to be a black man, a human being. Like, and I highly support and respect that guy. The director from the Big Sean video, Lawrence Lamont, like, I still connect with him every now and then, and like I learned a lot from him when I was on the Big Sean shoot. Like,
Right.
you know, I'm from Detroit, grew up from Detroit, lives out in LA. Fucking learned a lot from that guy. The dude, just his process of how he started up. He was telling me how he was beginning back in the day when everybody was shooting on 5Ds and shit. Like how everybody was up, and then how it all kind of built up to where they're doing big shit with artists like a J. Cole or a Big Sean and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
That whole camp, like, it's great. Like even at that time, because the Big Sean shoots where I kind of felt like I learned a shit ton, like a whole lot. That's still to this day my favorite production I've been on. And like learned a lot from the actor named Keith Powers and Ryan Destiny. Had a lot of really good conversations with them. And yeah, man, it's just continuing to grow your network of people, like your network of influential people that you want to learn from.
Right.
I think is very important. You know what I mean? Like, it's strange to me, right? It's not really strange, but like my girlfriend is a highly intelligent person, and like I've learned so much from her. Even just in a creative way, because she's a creative in herself. She's trying to be like a music artist, eventually, like an R&B singer and stuff. And she's a really good like film photographer. But like I've learned so much from her in that experience. And for me too, it's kind of weird because I used to think back home I would never learn shit from other folks, or I wasn't highly inspired. But I mean, I think too, it comes down to say like, yo, like I've learned and have been inspired by the shit that I've seen from other folks like Jimmy Ball or Jacob Guts or yourself. Like I think in like 2017 or 2018, I feel like I saw Guts like really grow as a fucking like music video artist. His quality like bumped up a lot, and he's always had that consistent kind of like movement. So I saw that from him. Jimmy Ball has his whatever fucking Purple Heart films, whatever, he's been booming. For yourself, like doing all that you've done with Kali, the fact that you were in the same room with Nipsey and all this kind of stuff, like there's that influence. I'm like, yo, I like to see that. I like to see that because y'all come from the same somewhat area, and we all kind of grew up in that same area of Fort Wayne, the certain mindset and mentality that a lot of people have. We grew up out of that shit. We left the city, all that kind of shit. And that's what I like to see from every and any creative who comes from where the fuck we come from. So that shit is very highly respectable. So my last thing here, well, actually, other thing, because I know you're a Black Magic person. I just got the pocket camera as well. I got the 6K version.
You got the 6K?
Yeah, man. I love that shit. I haven't
know
really
how that goes.
it. Yeah, no, it's great. I haven't really used it too much. I mean, the 6K is like all Black Magic raw. So like, you know, I haven't really used DaVinci all that much. So I'm trying to learn a little bit more on DaVinci, especially with the coloring. The coloring shit is like a whole process on there. So I'm trying.
Oh, bro, that's why I switched to DaVinci. It's for the coloring.
Shit, look, if you have a course about coloring that comes out, let me know. I'm a
It's
slide.
in there.
I'm a slide.
It's in there. I'll send you a link. It's in there though.
I'm gonna slide on it. But my last question, man, is just what advice from yourself would you give to anybody right now, any creator that's really trying to take that next step, to hold consistency, to hold themselves accountable, to understand their humility and using that to better themselves, and I guess way to kind of be influential organically in a truthful advice would you
drop something? Start dropping stuff and stop making an excuse of like people won't watch that, or it's not good enough, or I'm waiting for the perfect time, or I don't have enough gear, or the audio is really shitty in it, or like just put it out, bro, because people be getting 50 million views and they be blowing up off their first video. So like just start dropping stuff even when you don't think it's good. Like don't let your mind stop you from dropping some good stuff. And that'll keep you consistent because you'll be like, oh shit, you'll get better at it.
For sure.
And put a good message with it.
1,000%. My guy, look, I appreciate that we had this
conversation.
Like I said, I'm very glad that now after, because like I said, it's been a couple of years since we actually spoke face to face, virtually, whatever.
Yeah.
It's fucking great that we got that conversation. Once again, man, it's all respect, it's all love. I do plan on coming home like at the end of this month into August, and I have my own productions and shit planned. But if there's ever opportunity, man, just to hop on set, either or,
Yeah.
somehow, man, let me know. I'm gonna have the pocket and all that shit.
Okay. All right. I'll be out of town till the 3rd, August 3rd. But then after that, I do know I got a music video coming. He's got to send a deposit, but yeah, it should be coming, but I'll let you know.
Yeah, let me know, man. I'll send you the dates of when I'll be home, and then we'll rock on that afterwards.
All right, sounds good, man. Thanks for having me.
My brother, I appreciate you, man. Take care of yourself.
All right, you too, bro. See ya.
Look, my nigga, this is dedication. This is anti-hesitation. It's a real nigga celebration. It's a dime block declaration. 59th and 5th Ave, granny house with vanilla wafers. It's the remedy to separation. Tupac of my generation.